Welcome back to True North. Today we have a guest whose work has touched many lives, not just through music but through storytelling. His authenticity and ability to put words into feelings makes him relate to a lot of our audience. He's known as Deon Groot, and he has an Afrikaans music career that spans over more than 20 decades. Today we are here to not just talk about the music, but the man behind the music. Welcome to True North. Dion, welcome to True North.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. This podcast is about that internal compass that guides us through uncertainties. When did you first become aware of your true north and the core values that made you the man you are today?
I think it started off in 2012, around about there. I think that's when I realized that I wanted to go into the route of music alone, because I was doing risk management for DHL and for Imperial Logistics and for TFD. And all the way while doing it, I just didn't want to work for a boss. And I was doing a few pub scenes, just karaoke music and DJing a bit. And then all of a sudden, I just realized there's a dream that I've always wanted to follow. So with this, I just worked towards that. And then in 2014, I quit my job and I said, listen, I'm done and I'm going to move on and just be Deon Groot. And I started writing music, stayed at a friend's house still, just doing basically nothing. And then writing, and then all of a sudden everything just popped into place, went and started to do recordings with the money I've left, started doing shows on the side, doing festivals on the side, and all of this while I'm starting to release my music, and eventually got signed by Sony Music. And I think that's the whole sequence leading up to where I started my music.
Okay. And if I can take it back to even earlier, how did growing up in Namaqualand, and if I'm not mistaken, Namibia before that, how did that early route shape your guiding principles and your true north? Do you have any interesting stories from the young days and your connection to music?
Yeah. Well, I was born in a small town called Umaruru. And I didn't realize, I couldn't understand where I was, or at that stage what I wanted to do or anything. I was still very, very young. And we moved to Mpumalanga, a small town called Kriel. So my father worked on the coal mines, and we still went to visit Namibia, and it was quite cool to drive there. And on the road there, we didn't have tablets, or we didn't have streaming platforms or anything like that. So we had only the radio and tapes, these old cassette tapes. And listening to that all the way to Namibia, we had Blaise Bridges on there, Anton Goes and Sonia Harold, all those people on the radio all the time. So that's when I said, I love this. It's lovely to hear this type of music, these type of things coming through, the boombox, the Blaupunkt radio. And it was just this aura of what they had. And I think it started from small time back then with the traveling to Namibia to visit our family. And in Namibia, I didn't do much there. Didn't do much in Kriel. I won a singing competition in like grade 2 or something. And I think we moved to Namaqualand while I was in standard 7. So in standard 7, we moved to Namaqualand, and that's where I met the 5 Namaqualanders. Now, they were playing these boeremuziek type of music and stuff like that. So I went to their house on Fridays, and they were playing in the backyard while they were braaiing, just friends, just doing their stuff. And the crazy thing about it is the stories that they told while they were on tour, doing music, it was just so elaborate, so full of joy and love for music. And their storytelling is just in such a manner that they intrigue you they invite you to listen. It's just the manner that they speak. And all of that just combined with the music part of it and what I wanted to do eventually, all just a mindset in the back, well, back in the mind to do that. And I think that's just what I became later on as I grew up. And for me, it was just listening to them, understanding what they were, and to listen to their stories and how they told people. And I think through that, it was basically just common sense to try and do it myself, and just picked up a guitar, started writing, and tried to do it the way that they would do it. And still till today, I still enforce that.
Well, I mean, you've been in the music. Music has been on your path for the last 20 years. And I mean, winning a singing competition at age 2 clearly shows that you have a passion for the music industry. Standard 2. Okay. I thought age 2. Okay.
No, I think that's grade 4 now. I thought
grade
something.
4. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But I was very impressed for a second.
I'm not sure. Is it grade?
Yeah, it's about grade 4. So, I mean, it's clear that music has been a passion in your life for a long time. I mean, over 2 decades. In the early stages of your career, when you decided to make this a career, were there moments when you had some resistance to what you thought was the norm, was the path that people wanted you to go, and you deciding not to go down that path and rather pursuing your passion, which is music?
Yeah, I think when I was signed with a few record labels, they tried to force me into a certain type of person, try to force me to do certain type of music, to write a certain style of music. And it was good for me, and also embracing the new future that I had to just take a look at myself eventually and say, but this is not the route that I wanted to go to, or what I want to write about. This is not who I am as a person. You're trying to make me this type of person, which I am not. So all of my music just was screenplayed by them, and they wanted to put out this face of this Namaqualand guy that grew up in a small town and is now this big star. And I never felt like that. I always felt like the Namaqualand Okie that wanted to write music and wanted to do music. And I think it's now I'm at a stage where I'm with a record label that invites me to just be free and just do what I do, write what I do, have the freedom to be who I am. And I think that's one of the great parts of where I am today, back to where I was. Yeah.
Okay. Your lyrics often touches people deeply, and as you describe, finding words that prikkel 'n mens se hart. How has songwriting helped you stay true to your authentic self and to your true north during highs and lows?
I think when you're writing music, there's a part of you that comes out which you can't really tell to people, or your feelings. I think your emotions, everything about who you are as a person, you can put down, and nobody has to see it because none of those music are really public. But the writing part of it is one of the essential parts that I think that I feel I can just be myself with, and then bring it, what I choose to bring to the people as well. Because always, I said to my mom as well, the thing that I really enjoy is writing music, but not everything is for the people out there. Some of it stays at home. And I think through that, you can meditate in some certain way. I don't know what you can do with regards to that. But for me, I can break free of everything that haunts me, or that I'm afraid of. Anything that is a worry for me, I can put down in there. And also my good times as well, getting married, everything you can put down and say, this is how I feel, because you can't really express yourself in that moment while you are undergoing that or going through that. So for me, writing is just such a big part of just maintaining where I am mentally, and then going forth to put that out to people, what I want them to hear as well, and what I'm happy for them to hear.
I mean, speaking of these moments in life, you've released powerful work like Say Sooner. And are there perhaps certain seisoene in your life that that taught you something about your own purpose and some lessons? And can you tell us a bit more about maybe some seasons that might not have been as happy as summer per se, but how your true north got you through that?
Yeah, when I wrote the song Seisoene, and that's also the title of the album, I think the main thing about it is it's not written in such a way that it is based on the seasons that we physically experience, but it's mainly, it's focused on the experience that people are going through, like your emotions, your financial situations, your love, everything like that. So the season that you are in, if it's a love experience that you, or if it's love that you're experiencing, or if it's financial issues or anything of that part, you have to go through certain phases. And I went through them during COVID, the financial part of it. And we worked through that and found love after that. So I had that whole experience for that part of the Seisoene. And then afterwards, I went and just worked on the album and just combined all the songs. So that's the creative part of me as well. And started creating music. And that's why I said, listen, there's so many seasons in one's life that you can basically put it down to a song. And that's where Seisoene came from, and the experiences of it, and not just tied to the physical part of your summers or your springs and so on.
On that note of difficult seasons, has there been, in addition to COVID or even COVID itself, has there been seasons that you felt like you strayed from your true north? And this can include your experience in COVID. And what do you feel like brought you back? Was it your passion for music? Was it maybe someone close to you, family, a significant other? What do you feel like has brought you back on the path of your true north?
Yeah, this is a difficult one because there's so many things. I try to make sure that there's not just a single part of me. For me, it can be my plants. I love bonsais, and I love fishing, and I love my family, and I love my wife. I mustn't just say that as well. And there's so many things that you need to focus on for me to, when you stray from your path, to adapt to what you can find yourself in again, and to bring it to that path. Either if it's fishing, for me, it is just going to Frans Krol and just making lane and nut. And that part of me just settles me down. Other parts of it is just a bit of confidence booster from your wife, like I said as well just now. From family, it's like just their support in general. I think you can do it, you can become that. And yeah, I think that started off since I was about 5 years old, to dream big and to go for it. And I think just having that behind you is just a boost in itself to get you out of the place of I'm not good enough or I can't do this. And with the bonsais, it's just a part of being in nature itself and creating and seeing how things grow out of it. I think that part settles you nicely into a frequent, just stabilize yourself.
It seems like you have these hobbies that kind of pull yourself towards yourself. And it's important to obviously stay authentic. For us at True North, authenticity is a big theme of this podcast. And I think especially in the Afrikaans music scene, people do relate to people that are authentic. Now, on that note of authenticity, have you ever struggled with staying authentic but also trying to appeal to a broader audience?
Yeah, I think it's becoming harder now with AI as well. And just to make sure that you do not go beyond what they are doing and what people are doing out there. To stay authentic, I think, is one of the main reasons why I got here. And with the AI and with everything that is now influencing our music industry as well, it's I think essential for you to just ground yourself and just realize there's a reason why you are Deon Groot, or a person of that being, whomever you are, that nothing can take away from what you are as a person, but make it even stronger. I think building on those beginsels and that's the word. So that's the main thing for me as well. And it's like the struggles that you have, like with me talking English as well. It's a struggle, but we get to a certain point where we can just talk with people and just enjoy it. And yeah, like I said, Afrikaans skrywer, trying to do English music as well in between. There's a lot of struggles and things that you need to make sure that just pull you back onto.
Yeah. I think with your creativity, there's obviously an element of authenticity, but there's also a big element of courage that shows up a lot in any creative industry. Do you have an example of any specific bold choice, whether it be a song or collaboration, that felt that really aligned with your internal compass, but that really you felt like you had to dig deep a bit and apply some courage with any of your choices?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier that when I moved from Namaqualand, I was a diamond handler in Namaqualand. And when I moved to Pretoria, that was a big step for me, just to come into the big world and see what is out here. And yeah, it was just such a big jump to jump into that situation. And got to there, and I realized I could build myself up, and started becoming one of the big main people in the security industry there as well. Started doing risk management. And then after a while, I just realized that, but I'm happy with what I did, but I'm not happy as a person. So from here on, I can just jump to another route that I really found interesting for myself, and something that I really wanted to do, and that is music and writing music. And yeah, it took me 2 years to write music, or to put everything down that it's in my head, and went to the record labels and said to them, listen, here's a guy that just want to take a chance, just have a listen. And they said, come back in 6 months, we'll get you some contracts signed. And that's where the whole process started, with Sony Music, and then went on to Universal Music, and we did yes, great things. I think with the first album, we had about 2 songs that went gold, or got gold status. And on the second one, we got platinum status and multi-platinum status and gold statuses. So, and on the new album now with the Seisoene and so on, there's already, I think 8 songs or so, just dribbling on the gold status already. So I'm very, very happy with the jumps that I made. And eventually I'll make the jump to just being a fisherman on the sea. So, or by the sea.
Amazing. Life going full circle,
yeah,
and returning you back
just
to the ocean.
Back to where it all started.
It's amazing to see how you searched for direction, found your direction, and eventually made some success out of that. I think a lot of the listeners of True North specifically are looking for direction, and also are looking and redefining for success. How is your definition of success? Because every person has a different definition. How has that evolved over time?
Sure. I don't really believe in success. Not really. I believe in growth. And obviously that is tied to success. So it's the way that you see yourself and where you are as a person. And I think you can take that and say, but listen, if I'm growing every day, I'm working to my success story, to where I eventually want to be and what I see for myself. Whichever, because that just trades its own path as well. It goes into different directions. You wanted to be a risk manager, civil engineer, you wanted to be a doctor or whatever. And then eventually you found out that you wanted to do singing and songwriting. So your path will always stray in certain ways, and for you to find that out, you have to grow as a person. And I think your hobbies, that's one of the main things that I attract or grow towards, is just maintaining my hobbies, understanding families, love, everything like that. I think that will put you into a situation where you can find out who you are, grow into the person that you want to be, and become the success you want to be eventually, and be happy with that.
I do like your points about growth and striving for growth. Growth can both be exciting, but it can also be painful. Now, in your music brings up themes of resilience, love, heartbreak, specifically tracks like Vain and Breek die Mure. How do your personal experiences of joy and pain test your own guiding principles?
Yeah, I think when I started off in music, one of the things that I realized is that you first have to be happy by yourself and grow from there before you can make someone happy. Trying to make somebody happy and you're not happy, it's just a combination of things not working right. So for me, well, with doing anything, not only love, but with music and basically everything that you throw yourself into, you have to ensure that whatever you are doing, make that step into the direction that you will be happy and be happy with what you're writing, even if it's a heartbreak song, even if it's for me, it's a release to say, listen, this is a release of a certain future of mine, of a certain past of mine, and I'm heading towards the future. And yeah, I think writing about it helps me a lot and growing into that role of being Deon Groot eventually. But yeah, that's what I do from a music standpoint of view, or music point of view, and then just trying to grow into who I am here.
As someone who's built a career from the grassroots up, you've started, you've found some momentum, you found some success, and you found success on major platforms. If you were to give some advice to young people today that feels pulled into every direction, because in today's day and age there are so many distractions, what advice would you give them to chase their dreams and to follow their purpose?
I actually heard it today. Right there in the back door where we were just meeting up with everybody. One of the things is in 2007 I went to Upper Deck in Hartbeespoort, and there was a small band playing on the side, and then far at the back there was a guy called Dion in the Afrikaans industry, and after a while he walked up and said, "Give me 3 songs," and the whole place just went shaking like this when he got up to stage. And I was singing his songs at the time in pubs, small karaoke venues and so on, and knew his songs because that's what I sang, and went up to him afterwards and said, "Yes, such an honor to meet you and just want to shake your hand." And he said to me, "I saw you were singing my songs, so what are you doing?" I said, "No, I'm just doing pubs and stuff like that, just karaoke and DJing and stuff like that to just keep me alive for that time being in the creative part of me." And he said, "But okay, so what's your dream?" I said, "Well, eventually I want to stand up on the stage with you. Eventually I want to be that guy like you are." And he said to me, "Well, that's your first step, is believe it, and eventually don't quit, because a quitter never wins." So I think that's one of the parts that I really took from him and then just went into it. And when he passed, I also wrote a song about how he would have written a song. So I really enjoyed that part of just bringing back and tying back everything to where I am today, and just realizing that that was the moment as well to just focus on your dream and never to quit.
Sounds like he was a great mentor. Do you perhaps have any other stories of mentors, family, friends? I know you mentioned your wife as well, and I think we should mention your wife again for the brownie points. Any people in your life, any stories of people that really helped you stay grounded, that help you chase your true north? And yeah,
I think there's so many, because I can't really pinpoint it to one person. If I look at my band members, even they just keep me grounded with what I do with my music as well, or where I want to go. And just calm down. There's a certain structure that we need to put this out. What do you see? What do you want to write about? Or they bring me stuff and say, "We know this is up your alley." So doing that just it keeps me grounded to say, "But listen, you're not the only person in Deon Groot. There's so many people that makes me me." From my family, like I said, my wife, which we will mention again. And then I think it's just people in general. That's my inspiration for writing music. You come across so many stories, people that you find. Frans Krol, I mean, is full of stories. Namakoland is full of stories, and what they go through and what they are experiencing. And at shows, they come to me and they say, "Listen, this song that you wrote, I had a wife, and she's passed now 5 years, and this song just grabbed me, and he tells me the story of how they met, and then I can write a story again about that. So all of that just ties into speak with people, listening to people. That keeps me grounded. I think that's one of the main parts of Deon Groot as an artist, is to keep myself grounded with the people that I meet all along my travels and tours.
Yeah, I think it's amazing that you have a solid support network, it might seem, but also even a solid fan base that keep you grounded and keep you aligned with your purpose. Now, I've got a fun question for you. I do ask this to my friends quite often. If a 15-year-old Deon Groot walked in the door today, what's the advice you'd give 15-year-old Deon Groot?
I would give him 2 routes and say, listen, there's 2 routes for you. Number 1, you can be very successful and go and study and just finish everything and do civil engineering, and you'll be happy, and you'll have plenty of money, and you'll be great. And you will have a wife, you will have a house, and you'll be sorted. But there's this other part as well, which I'm doing currently. So I wouldn't really change anything because I chose this path, but there would be the advice of you have 2 choices. And I think the 15-year-old Dion will still choose music today, which is quite a story to tell in itself here.
Amazing. And now if you fast forward to today, how does your true north look today? And how do you hope your music and your stories will inspire others to find theirs and to follow their true north?
Yeah. I can't tell you what the future holds, but I can tell you what I'm working towards, and that's just blasting people with good lyrics, good music, trying to ensure that my music and my words fall onto ears so that they can come to me and give me their stories, which I can write about again, and eventually just that circle goes on and on and on. So I think mainly doing stuff that captures the audience in such a way that I can have a frequent influx of their personalities and their experiences and so on, to just do more music and just growing eventually into this big ball of music for people to hear and just relax to, like I did when I was 5 years old, driving to Namibia.
Amazing. Dion, thank you for sharing your stories, your values, your wisdom, and the lessons you've learned. I'm sure our audience that are constantly seeking their own true north can find some bits of wisdom here. I can see you're truly a passionate person, an authentic person, and it's good to see throughout your life you were always able to get back to your true north. Thanks for making the time, and I'm sure our audience finds this very valuable.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here. And thank you for the English interview as well.
Of course.
Thank you.
We have to challenge each other. It's about growth.
It's about growth. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks, Dion.
Thank you.